Hi, I'm Alfred Bundy. Welcome to this special coverage of the New Jersey League of Municipality Convention, the 104th session. We are here with Assemblyman Nicholas Chiaravalloti.
Very good.
I'm doing better because I've had a chance to say that a couple of times. Listen, the governor and state Senate president are going back and forth to figure out the best way to put money back into the pension for employees. I mean, I think we have some payments that are due. What's going on with the pension fund here in New Jersey?
Well, look, I think everyone recognizes that the reality is that we're sort of fast approaching a cliff, and that at some point the state's going to not be able to fulfill its pension obligations. What's important to recognize is that this is a decades-old problem, right? It began during the Christie Whitman administration when
So
she
true.
borrowed against it,
So true.
and there were significant underpayments. But I will tell you, we've made a lot of progress just because we're now meeting the minimum requirements, and that's really through the Governor Murphy's leadership. Obviously, the Senate President has been pushing his ideas on reforms that he thinks. Look, I think I'm a product of a school teacher and a union electrician, right? I think that we have a contract with our retirees, and we need to fulfill that contract, and that means fully funding the pension.
Talk about fully funding. You ever think we're going to fully fund our public schools?
Well, again, we've made huge strides, right? We have more money going to K through 12 and higher ed than we've ever had in the past. Look, I take particular pride in the fact that Bayonne, which is my hometown, has seen a significant increase in funding due to some of the changes in the law. But more importantly, Al, public education, as Booker T. Washington said, public education is the key to unlocking the door. And in Bayonne, we are a town that is a peninsula, that our neighboring community is Jersey City. Bayonne never had pre-K funded by the state. So last year, only 70 students qualify for pre-K funding from the state of New Jersey. This year, over 642 4-year-olds are attending Bayonne public schools because of the governor and the leadership's initiatives. This is really a game changer, and so we're excited about the progress we're made. Now, again, it's always balancing, right? Making these investments, whether it's in education or New Jersey Transit or any of the other entities, but balancing that against taxes and tax relief efforts, etc.
By the way, commuters are on New Jersey Transit lines are complaining more than ever. The service is worse than ever. What's your take?
Look, my take is that for 8 years under the Christie administration, New Jersey Transit was gutted, right? Morale was down. We had mass retirements, and it's going to take us a while to get back to being a premier public transportation system. The reality, though, is without New Jersey Transit, our economy doesn't function. All right, our roads are already too congested. So I think that we're investing in the right spots. We need to continue to recruit engineers. We need to continue to recruit bus drivers. And we need to continue to invest in the infrastructure for tomorrow's economy, not for yesterday's economy. And we're on our way. But look, this stuff takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I think we're making some progress in that area, but we can always do more. And look, I take public transportation in 2 ways. Every couple of months, I'll take the bus to work from Bayonne to Journal Square, and almost every week, I'm on the Hudson Bergen Light Rail. The system is there. We really just need to
Has it been
continue to
stopping on you, or they know you're on the train and
No,
it doesn't stop?
it hasn't been stopping. It hasn't been stopping.
I went over to the Mets game not long ago, and it stopped a couple of times trying to get into New York.
Look, living in Bayonne, which again is a peninsula, having that sort of mass transit
It's very
has really
important.
opened up the entire town.
And it's very important, too.
And it's also led to massive economic development in our community.
That's right. Talking about young people that we talked about, schools, a new health issue is vaping and e-cigarettes. The legislation being created to deal with this, how much can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm not working on that legislation, but look, I'm a father of 3 boys. I have a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And we talk about vaping at our table on a fairly continuous basis because I know for a fact that their friends are using this stuff. So I think the first thing is you have to educate, right? And that becomes in the home, and that's the responsibility of the parents and the guardians. The second thing is, it is a ridiculously disgusting habit. My big concern with vaping is that unlike traditional tobacco products, this is a chemical that can be manipulated, right, and then put onto the market. We have a situation now where a good friend of mine's son, who's in his 20s, was vaping for about 14 months. He now has severe lung damage after only 14 months. of vaping. It's much more dangerous than cigarette smoking. Now, look, I don't want my kids smoking anything.
Right.
But I think the vaping, especially the flavors, are targeting our children. And this is something where I think we really need to take a very hard stand on. But that's the father in me.
That's okay. That's important, and it's true. Before we go, any legislation that you're working on or that you're sponsoring that you want to talk about?
Well, look, I think there are two pieces, but one that I'm really excited about is we've just introduced a package of bills focused on hospital systems. As many of your viewers know, CarePoint, which operates the hospitals in Hudson County, has put them up for sale. And one of the things I've learned in that process is that the disclosure and the authority and the transparency in these transactions is nowhere near where it should be when you consider public health. So we have worked with the Commissioner's Office and with leadership, and we're working with the Governor's Office to get bills passed, hopefully sooner rather than later, which will give more authority to the Commissioner, would require more transparency on the part of hospital operators. One of the things that really shocked me is the amount of money that's pulled out of these hospital systems to third parties, whether it's management fees or whether it's leases. I'm not sure many taxpayers understand that their healthcare costs are being driven by these payments. So one of the things that the state report showed in March, the SCI report, the Commission on Investigations report showed us, is that in Hudson County, our 3 hospitals, over $158 million was taken out of those hospitals for management fees in only a 4-year period. And that directly impacts the bottom line and the fiscal security of those facilities. So that's one thing that we're working on.
You got a part 2?
The second part is we have a bill. It doesn't have a sexy title, but it's really important to small businesses. We have, in New Jersey, we have so many small businesses which drive our economy. These guys really rely on non-traditional lenders, right? They can't go to the bank because it takes too long. So in the marketplace, you now have these lenders which literally within hours will give a loan to a small business. Now that's a good thing. The challenge you have, though, is that you have a gap in regulation on these lenders. So you will have, the perfect example is the pizzeria whose ovens go down. They literally need to get that money and get those ovens repaired within hours, or else it could really end their business. And part of what we're seeing now is that there's really a lack of transparency within these non-traditional lenders. And we have a package of bills that I actually think will pass during lame duck, that the governor will sign, that will really protect these small business owners. Because we want to keep liquidity, we want to keep small businesses going. They really are the economic engine of the state. So that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Thank you, Assemblyman.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
With all that, and good luck in Atlantic City.
Thank you, sir.